G2 shrink? Well, it shrinks until it's cured. So, I mean, it's very hard stuff. So it will, you know, the solvents in it will evaporate and it'll shrink hard and cure. After that, man, there's no shrinkage. So it's a very good, I don't like it. It's too much for me. Like you definitely need a 2.0 tip size or 2.2 even to spray that stuff. It's very, very thick feather fill. I used it a few times. I wasn't too crazy about it. I would rather sand down my body work till 150, 180, get it smooth enough so where I don't have to use feather fill. I could just use a good 2K filler primer to fill my scratches. So it's up, you know, I don't like it, but some people like it. Some people use it. You could spray over 80 grit, the feather fill, you know. I heard people spraying over 40 grit, which is crazy, but they do it. Right. Can I clear? Glenn says, can I clear coat on top of primer? I think you could. I've never done it, but I'm pretty sure you can. Are you trying to go for like that primer color look? Why don't you just sand the primer down, put some primer looking top coat, like get a base coat that looks like primer? I know some of the new Tacomas, some of the Silverados have this gray primer look that you could use as a base coat. Why not just paint that color? And then I wouldn't clear over primer, man. Toolboxes, yep, craftsman toolboxes. Some of these are like 40 years old. That one I got when I was 17 down there. These top ones were my dad's. He got in like the 70s. So that's even older. So yeah, these are some old toolboxes. And then that Cobalt I got like a year ago on sale for like $300 because it was dented. Copper gas tanks. Tips or tricks for sanding Bondo in tight spots for custom work? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Jeremiah, are you a VIP member at Learn Autobody? Because we have custom stuff that I did on gas tanks like that in the VIP area. I made custom lamps and we were, you know, standing in tight areas and doing all kinds of things. Did you check out the custom lamp projects? Few of those in VIP. Also, we did a custom couple of motorcycles in there in VIP. So you might want to check that out. If you're not a VIP, go here first to grab that free manual. There's a special link on the next page to check out VIP. Super affordable, guys. I mean, there's over 250 hours of step-by-step videos and so much in there. You get emails about live. I don't know why from YouTube or from me personally, because we do send out emails when we go live every Monday, and you can see it. We actually got the email right here. Autobody Q&A. Right here. An email did go out. Email did go out to you guys about 40 minutes ago. So I'm not sure. Maybe you need to subscribe to the newsletter again too. I don't use any polyester filler primer. I don't like it. I used G2 feather fill in the past, but if you're asking me for other ones, I don't know. You might have to just YouTube it, search other channels, see what they use. I don't use it. I use straight DTM 2K filler primer or basic filler primer. That's all I need. It's you know, once you get into a protocol of how you do body work, what sandpaper grits you finish with, you know, then that's all you got to do. You don't have to go with different techniques. As long as you know what works, just keep doing that same thing, right? Good quality. And what should a quart of acrylic lacquer cost? Restoration shop, I tried it once back in Dallas. I didn't have any issues with it. I thought it was pretty good. As far as the cost, I don't know, because the prices have been going up everywhere. Materials, food, gas, I mean, everything. I don't know the current pricing on that. I haven't bought in any restoration products in a while, so I'm not sure. Just Google it, you know, check out TCP Global, check out eBay, just check it out. I'm not sure on current pricing. Lacquer finish, and was wondering if I could if I would have to sand to bare metal in order to spray primer. Lacquer finish, you don't have to unless the paint is in pretty bad condition. So if you got spider webbing, very bad oxidation, chipping, peeling, then you would want to sand to metal and basically take down as much as possible, right? And then put a DTM. You could go with an epoxy primer over metal, or you can use a DTM direct to metal 2K filler primer over metal and some of the paint areas. If you use DTM and if it goes over some partial paint areas, you know, some partial paint areas or whatever, you're fine. As long as it's sanded, you're okay. Right over acrylic enamel. And we did that on the Good Van project, and we should have a new segment coming out. There's the Good Van project. Okay. A new segment should be coming out by this Friday. I've been just so busy with other things, but we got 2 segments out so far. We're going to have another segment on that, basically a complete A to Z paint job on that. And we painted brand new single stage paint over that single stage acrylic. Okay, so you definitely can prime without priming. You could definitely paint without priming. So that was soda blasted a few years ago, doesn't show any surface rust. What is the best way to prep it now? That's awesome. No surface rust. I would definitely sand it down with like a 150 grit. Okay, get the metal scuffed up nice. And then you could put an epoxy. You can give it 2 nice coats of epoxy primer, fillered by 2 coats of 2K filler primer. And then you could block it out. I'm not sure if you have a lot of body work on it, if you got to do body filler on it, but you could do that after it's all primed. Or you could do the body filler while it's in the metal stage. It's up to you how you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way, because say you put your epoxy over bare metal, you put 2K over bare metal, and you have some dents or some waviness in the door panels or whatever that you got to do, you're going to have to kind of sand that down to metal anyway, right? You're going to have to get that area raw, and then you could put your body filler on, block it out, shape it. Here the dog's at, and then put some primer on it. So however you want to do it, you're good. Let's see. How long I got to top coat after using adhesion promoter on plastic? I mean, within the same day would be great. You know, if you're doing it the same day, you're good. So don't adhesion promote unless you're going to paint it. It's good to apply paint the day you're doing it. You know, actually, you know, within 30 minutes, 40 minutes of doing it is the best time. So if you're in the spray booth, right, you got some raw plastics, you hit it, let it dry, and then boom, paint it. So it's best to do it right before. My car, some spots are showing clear coat peeling off, other parts have the old paint. What sandpaper grit should I use before painting? I would use a 150 to feather everything out. Okay, use a 150 to feather everything out. Then you could go to like a 240 to go around it, you know, even like a 360. I'm not sure what you're going to do. You're going to be painting the whole hood, right? So basically 150, the area where it needs a lot of, you know, where you're trying to basically blend in the faded paint and clear into the good area, right? And then I would get like, you could even go like a 320 grit, do the whole hood, prime it, prime the area where you 150, okay, or 180. Any grit range in that area is fine. Okay. And then just make sure your overspray is overlapping that 150 or 180 area into the 320 or 240, whatever grit you have around it. So this way you can finish it off with like a 400 grit, the whole thing, and then you're ready for paint. 33 gallon connected to another 30 gallon air compressor. What gun would be best? High volume, low pressure. Definitely in your situation, probably, you know, a low volume, low pressure. Okay, consumes a little less air. You know, you're going to need a little less volume. Not really a huge difference, but there is a little difference. Stage silver day before yesterday, and I noticed some areas where the paint crinkled after clearing. What can I do to fix the crinkled area? Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to paint the whole panel because, you know, you're going to basically what I would do is block sand it out with 400 grit, kind of sand it out, see how far you can feather it out. If the crinkle, sometimes if you sand the top of a crinkle, it opens up and you're going to have like a crater inside. Okay. If you end up with something like, if there's a lot of crinkles in it, or I call it biting, then you're going to have to just block sand everything flat. And then you might want to run a coat of glaze putty to fill it. Okay. That's one way. And then you can block it out. I would use a 2-part glaze putty, something that you mix. I have some over there. Dolphin glaze is good. Unless you want to sand it all the way out. So basically go all the way down and sand it out. Okay. You might even touch metal. I don't know, depending on how deep it is. Then you're going to have to 2K filler prime that area. If you go down to metal, block it out again, and then repaint it. But if you have crinkles like that, you're going to have to paint the whole panel over, you know, if you want to make it look good. You know, if you want to, I wouldn't really get into blending, you know, a panel. If it's a fender, redo the fender. If it's a hood, you're gonna have to repaint the hood. 2C10, it was hit, and I used a stud welder, pulled out to get most of it, but it moved the middle of the door, and I can't get it to stay the shape it was. What do you mean it moved the middle of the door? You might, if you stretched the metal, okay, you might have to get to the back of it. Oh my God, large price move. Ethereum is down another 4.4%, down to 1174. Whew. Things are on sale. Whose question was this? Joseph. Yes. Joseph, you might need a shrinking hammer. I don't know if what you did was stretch the metal, but if you did stretch the metal, okay, you're going to have to get in back of the door with a dolly, like a metal block, okay, with a shrinking hammer. It looks like a meat tenderizing hammer. You ever see those hammers where it's a square? I don't know if I haven't seen mine in a while. I think I lost it at my other shop. But it's basically a hammer with like a bunch of lines in it. Okay. You heat the panel up with you could use a torch or a propane tank. Okay. You heat it and then you tap it and you shrink the metal in that area. You get a little rag, cold water, and you could just kind of just wet it down a little, or you could let it cool. But wetting it does help shrink the metal. So you could do that if you stretch the metal. Okay. Do I have any videos of VIP? I don't think I have a VIP video on that specific. I might actually. There's like 250 hours of video. I totally forgot what I made sometimes. This MC Sierra, I have it in epoxy primer now. I'm sanding it with 320 to get smooth. Can I respray it with epoxy again till I get ready to put in high build? Yes, you can. You can, but why? Why would you? Why don't you just put some high build primer on it? After you could just cut that down. And if you spray fresh epoxy, you actually don't have to sand when you put high build. You could put high build right on top of it, same day. So you would let your epoxy cure for an hour, 2 hours. I would give it 2 hours just in case. Normally it cures in an hour. Give it 2 hours, put 2-3 coats of high build on it, and you're done. Basically block it out and paint it. So I'm not sure, but yes, you could put more epoxy if you want to. Any advice on shooting satin black? It's SEM brand. Advice is be careful and good luck, because I don't like flat colors at all. Like they're not durable unless you're using Plasti Dip. You know, the rubberized Plasti Dip paint, that's okay because it's a little bit more durable than regular SEM flat black. I hate flat and satin colors because they're not durable. You know, you'll like it. It's going to look cool for a little while, but after a year, you know, after a year and a half, it's going to look like crap. But just shoot it as you would spray a regular car. It'll dry satin. Hello, quick question. Can Polyflex get wet? I got a custom bumper fusion. Yeah, I mean, yes, it can get wet. Yeah, as long as it's dry, it can get wet and you can dry it off again. So yeah, primer, you can get wet. Body filler, you can get wet, you know, but just make sure if you're going to work on it again, make sure it's dry. You know, don't be priming body filler that's still damp. That's when you're going to have issues, you know. So things can get wet. Just make sure it's completely dry before you start sanding or working on it again, or priming or anything like that. Aloha. Have a great day. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe.